Hello and welcome to the Main Cave. Now in today's video I've got a pre-release of simply the best PS5 controller I own, and I own loads. This is the Hexgaming Phantom, and in this video I'm going to show you that this is the true PlayStation 5 Edge controller you've been waiting for and why you need this in your gaming setup. So if you're new here, we make regular videos on gaming and technology for your smart home, so please do consider subscribing. We may make a video to make your life easier and I won't want you to miss out. So please do hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Now currently this controller is on Kickstarter and you can now go and pledge to get your own, or if you're watching this in a few months time, then have a look on the website to get yours. This is the Hexgaming Phantom Dualsense controller for PS5 and it is now my daily driver when gaming. I've been lucky enough to get one early to show it off, and what I have is the basic pack. In the box came nothing more than the controller itself, a pack of thumbsticks, a manual and a pack of joystick protector rings. There are other packs though you can get with things like a case, a USB, etc. So take a look and see which one you want. There are 4 colours available: Chaos Black, Dream Blue, Vision White, and here I have the Shadow Grey. The controller itself looks identical to a regular DualSense, with all the same features as you'd expect, such as adaptive triggers, haptic feedback, gyro. For all intents and purposes, it's identical, but with quite a few tweaks to it. The battery is still 1560 mAh, so it'll last just as long as you're used to. It weighs in at 295 grams, which is just a bit more than the original, which is 277 grams, but lighter than the Edge, which is a whopping 334 grams. Finally, it's also compatible with everything you'd expect: the PS5, Windows, iOS, macOS, iPadOS, and Android. So let's start off at the front then. The D-pad and the face buttons, they feel the same, albeit there's no icons on them. The touchpad is smooth with some branding on it. The options and share feel identical. And then finally, L3 and R3 feel the same with a satisfying deep click. There's still the mute button, speaker, 3.5mm port, and on the top is charging via USB-C. So what is new here is the PS logo on the front of the controller is now the Hexgaming logo, and the thumbsticks are removable. In the box, as I showed earlier, are 8 thumbsticks you can use to change the way it feels. In my pack I got 4 long stemmed sticks, 2 of which were large faced and 2 domed. Then I also got 4 shorter stemmed, 2 concave, 1 domed and 1 large face. After plenty of trial and error, I went for the short concave on the right stick and the short large faced on the left stick. But the choice is obviously yours as to what you're most comfortable with. I have also tested the sticks with the protector rings on, and although they do what they're supposed to, I found them a bit too grippy and didn't quite have the flow I was after, so I've just left them off. Spinning the controller over now is where this controller shines. Firstly, the handles now have a fine grippy texture to them, which helps with handling. This is something I really appreciate. It's much more textured than both the original and the Elite controller. At the top is a button surrounded by a multicoloured LED flanked by 2 switches. The switches are to independently change the triggers R1 and R2 from your standard triggers to hair clicky triggers. And when I say independent, I mean you can have 1 hair trigger and 1 regular. And when I say regular, I mean exactly as it was with your original DualSense. You still get the adaptive triggers with the haptic feedback. But if you want to switch to having instant triggers, it's just a case of flicking the switch on the back. This is genuinely brilliant. The hair trigger is a mouse clicky as well, meaning it feels and sounds like a mouse click. Here's what it sounds like. Now for the button in the middle, this is for mapping the 4 rear paddles on the bottom and to swap profiles. Yes, you can have up to 6 profiles stored, each set with a different set of mapping on the paddles. Just swap the profile on the fly and all your saved mappings for that profile are loaded. The LED also changes to the colour it's on so you don't get lost: blue, aqua, yellow, purple, green and white. So now down here to the paddles labelled K1, 2, 3 and 4. I'm a sucker for some paddles as I really think they complement my gaming style. If you haven't tried paddles before, you're in for a treat as these are superb. They are again mouse clicky in feeling with an extremely satisfying click when pressed. They're located one above the other in an angular design, so it's easy to rest your fingers on them and either do what I do and use your middle finger to press them both, or you can, if you want to, use the middle finger for K1 and K3 and your fourth finger for the bottom two, K2 and K4. They feel and sound the same as the hair triggers, just like before. Again, have a listen. Now, just when you think you've got enough of one controller, there is one other extra feature they call DRIFIX. Open up the flap on the front of the controller and you have 4 little screws which you tweak to fix any drift you may be experiencing. I've got Dualsense controllers and not one has ever drifted, so I'm hoping I don't have to use it, but it's there if I need to. A good move. Out of all of the Dualsense controllers I have, this is the one I reach for when gaming every single time. The edge is okay, but it only has 2 paddles. The Extreme Rate modded one is okay, but with only one profile. The Phantom just makes my entire range look basic. The competition for this is definitely, say, a SCUF controller, and I have used 2 SCUF controllers in the past on my PS4 and they never really lived up to the hype whilst using them, so I never really bothered with another one. I've played with this controller now for over 50 hours in the past week or so on various games such as FPS, RPGs and even basic platformers, and I've enjoyed every second. I can't find a downside. The only one maybe is I wish I'd got the case and the USB, but I'm just grateful to be getting this early, so I'm not complaining. It has everything you'd want and more. The inclusion of hair triggers and to be able to swap back and still retain haptic feedback is superb, and the paddles are comfortable and a joy to use. This controller is the best one I have ever used, and I've used a lot. So please do have a look at the description below where you can get one, and if you've backed this, I hope you are excited for it. I can't wait for you to get yours. Please let me know if you've got any questions on this. Like and subscribe, and until the next video. Bye bye.